being a man, ego is everything. Um, ego is being a man. A lot of men don't know what actually being a man is. So therefore, a lot of confusion comes into play. So ego to me is a necessity by DNA from being masculine, but it also confuses the person. It makes us feel like we're invincible when we're not. Ego is why I can't surrender myself completely to love. Because I feel like I have to be strong. I feel like I can't give her so much, or anybody. It gives me a sense of pride. Maybe it's because of the way I grew up or where I come from. Growing up as a minority, you tend to feel like you have to be strong. And when you grow up with that sense of habit, it becomes universal to anything in your life. So when it has to do with love, it's just like a reflex. It's like, all right, I love, that's my heart. You can't have all of it. Like, you're not gonna get all of it. Like, what are you gonna do to me somewhere down the line to make me feel like I have to protect myself? I love to love, though, unconditionally. But there's always something there. There's like a guard that I can't even explain. Like, it's something that I grew with from habit. And unfortunately, it's real, it's there. Love is everything. Love is definitely a key element to success, because that's the only way you can truly understand someone, through love. We are all born through love. We are all connected, and that feeling to love someone is incredible. So without love, how are you really successful? Like genuinely, like inside, like not financially, but like genuinely. Like when you lay down and you're a millionaire and you have no one to love, how does that feel? I don't know, but I would prefer the love. I need passion, a lot of passion. I'm an artist, for Christ's sakes. Like you gotta you gotta show me. I need to see it. Tell me you love me, hold me, grab me, talk to me. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you do like. Cry if you want to. Laugh. It's alright. But don't doubt yourself, because if you doubt yourself in that emotion, then I'm not gonna believe you. And I'll dismiss you, like, frankly. But if you come to me truthfully, and you tell me, even if I dislike the action in which you're behaving, I'm gonna surrender, because that's who you are. And if I love you, then that's what it is. Growing up, the relationship I had with my mom, it was tricky. My mom is a beauty. She's like one of those women that when you see her, she's like stunning, like to the eye of a man. She grew up, like even if you see her today, she's like, put her age out there, she's like 50 something, but you would think she's 30 something when you see her. So it's like my mom always had that. She always had that way, and I wanted her to be a little bit more than that towards me. She always loved me. Love was always unconditional, but I wanted her to be a little bit more. I was just one of those kids that just had awareness from the jump. Like, I knew what I needed, and I knew wants from needs, and I needed my mom's love unconditionally at all times. And she gave it to me, but not the way that I wanted it. So I seeked it in other places. And still to this day, I remember not being able to hug my mom the way I always wanted to. Like, I would hug her, but I wouldn't hug her. And it was tough, you know. And only I knew that on the inside. Only I felt that. It's because I wanted more from her and she wasn't giving it to me. I don't know if it was because I didn't express it, or it's just because she couldn't give it because of how she grew up. I don't know. But today, me and my mom have a great connection. We have a great vibe. It's hard for me to trust women, especially good-looking women. It's like you can get whatever you want, like, just because of how you look. I wish I knew my mom better, character-wise. Maybe I would have a better understanding how to look at women going forward. But I always felt like I could never be faithful to a woman, or I couldn't trust a woman, because I seen the way that my mom maneuvered. You know, I seen the way that she was able to get something just because the way she looked or the way she said something. But I wanted to break that cycle. That was like teenage. I used to think that I couldn't trust women. As I got older, I craved for more intimate family, more intimate women, to love more passionately, to get to know someone. So me as a teenager, not trustworthy. I did a lot of cheating. Me as a man, the cycle sort of reversed, and I just wanted to be in love with one. I've been heartbroken twice. It brings me back to the question you asked me earlier, like the ego part. The ego part doesn't allow 100% to come into play. I've forgiven myself, which I think is the ultimate battle, when you are able to forgive yourself. That's the only way you can learn how to forgive someone else. The second heartbreak, I've definitely forgiven that one. It was more like a learning experience, and I was finally learning how to give myself freely to someone unconditionally after the things that I put together with my mom. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can genuinely give myself to someone. I can do it, you know. Right. And I end up hurting myself in the mix of that, because I wasn't being 100% faithful. Right. And through that time, I end up hurting the other person, and eventually hurting me, and I wasn't able to get that back. So it was okay. It was more like a learning experience, you know. No shade, you know, but now I know, like, I wasn't in love with the person. It was just in the moment of time to teach me that lesson. Now that I can actually sit here and identify what was happening, it was like more of a lesson learned. It was my dad. It's a gift and a curse, though. My dad is, he was an NYPD detective, narcotics division, downtown. He was also a poet. He taught me so many things, man. Like, he taught me the game of chess at like 4 years old. Like, I knew how to play chess fluently at 5, you know. He was creating a thinker. A lot of my awareness comes from him, and seeing the way he functions and how he wrote poems. And he used to take me to bars when I was like 11, sneak me in, and let me listen to all of these phenomenal artists, and I used to just take it in and feel everything, you know. The curse is, my father has demons, you know. He has demons in his closet like anyone else, and his run deep, you know. It runs to when he was a foster kid, where his aunt raised him rather than his mom, and which is my grandmother, who has a mental illness, you know. It gets deep, you know. It goes so far as to he being there for all of my basketball games, but then when I felt like I most needed him, he wasn't there, you know. He was there for me financially, but emotionally, as I got older, he started to become more absent. That only came because I realized he never had it himself. And he's a great man. My dad is a great man, but he's troubled, you know. But he's great, and I definitely idolize my dad, man. Through all the nicks and the nats and all the pains and the dramas, and we still found a way to connect. I wanna come on this earth. I wanna leave a mark. I don't believe people just come here to live and then just die. I think we have purpose, and I think that the more we get in tune to who we are and ourselves, that we can change the world with each other. Yeah, I think that you can be very successful without being sexy, actually. But I think that everybody has a bit of sexy to them. It's all on what your definition of sexy is. I think us as people think sexy is all about the physical trait. Sexy comes from up here for me. You could look popping, you could look like whoever, scale top 10, but if you ain't got it in here for me, you ain't getting in my bed. Like, that's just not happening, you know. It's just like you have to like throw the rod out and wheel me in, and I find sexy being intellectual and vibing and spiritually connecting. That's sexy. So I don't know, to answer your question, yeah, you gotta be sexy to be successful, because you gotta have some type of, you can't have no sexy, you gotta have some type of sexy, you know.